This is the A-Zone 500 watt solar street light. Let's take it out of the box. So in the box, you get the light head itself right here, a mounting pole with bracket, as you see there, a remote control, a couple of other mounting brackets, all kinds of mounting bolts and things like that. That's all sitting on top of the separate solar panel that you have to mount on this arm later on. And of course, you also do get the instructions right over here that'll show you how to mount it. So like I said before, this is a 500 watt solar street light. There are lower wattages available, which would not have as big of a solar panel and all that kind of stuff there. This puts out up to 50,000 lumens at, of course, the highest brightness. 9-level brightness adjustment, 3, 5, or 8 hour timer. It can run for up to 18 hours on a full charge, which would take about 6 to 8 hours. It's IP65 waterproof, and you can also adjust the angle of the solar panel. Let me show you how it goes together. So in here contains all of the hardware that you're going to need, along with an Allen wrench there to put everything together. You still need a regular, socket or open-end wrench, something like that, to tighten up the mounting bolts for mounting this up. They also include batteries for the remote, which is handy. So the first thing is to get everything put together with the solar panel. So I'll move that out of the way. There's some holes on the solar panel, and you'll notice when you take this piece and put it down, it's going to line up with the holes. So now you bolt that in place. So to mount this up, they give you these nuts right here, okay, and that you just sort of stick underneath the hole. There is a screw that will thread into that nut. So now you place that over the hole, and it's a regular Phillips or flat screwdriver to screw that down in there and get it mounted up. So once you have that together, again, the nuts just sort of slip in there, run the screws through, and mount this bracket up. So you'll have the 4 screws like that. The nuts again come in from behind. It takes a little doing just to get it lined up and right. But once you get it, you lock it down nice and tight, and then you can move on. So now that you have that, you take the arm, and you'll see that'll mount up there. The holes line up with the slots. It can be turned any which way you need. And you have 2 bolts with nuts right there. Just run them through and bolt that up. So now it's going to be looking like this. Nuts and bolts through. And after you tighten it up, you won't be able to move this anymore. So you want to get, good angle, or you could loosen it later. Anything you need. But that's the general idea of how that goes. And now these 2 pieces are going to go together. And for that, we're going to use our smaller nuts and bolts. Once again, the screw and the nut, and that will bolt together. You're going to want a center pivot, and then to lock into any of the 3 angles, if you can see right over there, like that, so you can choose which one you want. So now you just place that around there, put your screws through, and that'll anchor it. And now you can put the nuts on. Of course, tighten that up after. Nut on the other side, right here. Tighten those up. And then what you're going to do is tilt this, and the other 3 holes are going to line up. So if I take another one of these here, I can stick it through. You just got to play with it just to get it right. In fact, I might just use a screwdriver on that quick to get it started in. There we go, like that. And then you would put a nut on the inside of that. And of course, once you get everything nice and tight, it won't sit like this. It'll sit nice, whatever you want. So when it's flipped over, you'll see you can have different angles. And I'll show you that. So just to demonstrate, in the back here is where it's going to mount to a house or a pole or what have you. The front here is where the light is ultimately going to mount, and here's your solar panel. So you can have it straight up and down like this, horizontal if you will, or it can be tipped to about that angle there, so maybe 45, 65 degrees, something like that, or back the other way, same kind of idea. So you lock that in where you feel it's going to give you the best sun exposure. And now you can finally mount the light head to that. Obviously the light is going to point toward the ground, solar panel pointing to the sky, so they are opposite each other. You take the wire, which is bundled in here. You need to loosen these bolts here, feed it through the hole over here, which is going to plug into the solar panel when we get to that. So pull that through and just kind of wrestle that on there, just like that. Now obviously it's loose here, so I'm going to tighten these bolts up, and that'll mount it to the pole, and then we'll connect up the solar panel to it. And finally, with that all done, these two cables now plug together. Now if you want to loop this around so it's not as, you can do that, and then they can meet over here. But the main thing is these are keyed connectors. There's a little notch in there and a cutout here, so they have to mate up the right way, otherwise they will not plug together. That is the right way. They plug together, and then you screw that together and it makes a waterproof seal, just like that, and it's now ready to go. Might be a little hard to see with the daylight, but there's actually a charge indicator. There are 4 red lights, and if I turn it just right, I don't know if I can do it at this angle, the green light will light up, and that indicates the amount of sunlight you're getting and the amount of charge you're getting right there. So that's a handy thing that it's right there to show you that. So here's maybe a better shot of those lights that show you what's going on with the charge. That little black thing there is the sensor for the remote control. So you're going to want to point it more toward that than anything else. Now, like I said, this is dusk to dawn, so it does not want to be on during the daytime. However, this was made in such a way that you can still power it on during the day. But it's only going to stay on for like a minute or so. So this way you can like test it during the day. Now, there's other buttons on this remote that are not used for this particular model. However, there's only certain ones that are going to work, like the plus and minus to raise and lower the brightness. Auto will make it dusk to dawn, of course, and your 3, 5, and 8 hour timer, just like that. So this is your lowest brightness. I don't know how much you're really going to see in the daytime. Of course, I'll show you this at night, and then you can raise it up. Like I said, there are 9 different brightness levels, and then it turned off because it timed out, but I can turn it back on like that. Once you reach the highest brightness level, it's going to blink at you to let you know that you're all the way there. Just like that. So I'll come back at another time once I get some help putting this up, because I can't do it one person. I'll mount it up temporarily so you can get the idea. Meanwhile, I will leave it out to charge, and then you can get the idea. I will explain while we're rolling here that the timer, what that does is, let's say it's 10 p.m. and you press the 3 hour timer. That means that in 3 hours it's going to shut off. And then from that point, it's going to recycle. So in other words, 10, you hit it for the 3 hour timer. What's going to happen is it's going to shut off 3 hours from then. Now, the next night, it's going to be dark well before 10 p.m. So it's not on a 24-hour rolling cycle like that. It's going to automatically turn on when it gets dark. And that's when you want to go ahead and set your timer there, so it'll run for 3, 5, or 8 hours. And then as the days get shorter and shorter, or longer and longer, it's going to kind of auto adjust for that. So it'll run for 3, 5, or 8 hours from the time it turns on once you set it, is pretty much how it works. It's just about dark now, and right off in the distance you can see a chaise lounge. I don't know how much of the camera makes that out, but we're going to go ahead and turn the light on now. And there you go. That lights up really, really nicely. So this is at the highest brightness. You see it blinks 3 times to let you know. And I'm going to slowly lower the brightness down to the lowest setting. And that's the lowest setting. And even with that, there is plenty enough light for you to see around. So it really adds quite a lot of light, all powered with a solar panel from the sun. Nothing you need to do. It's got the timer built in, like I explained earlier. And when you shut the light off, which you can do at any time with the remote, you have the indicator there that will show you how much charge you have left in the battery, and that's full charge right there. So once again, this was the A-Zone 500 watt solar street light. If you'd like to purchase this item, I'll leave a link in the video description where you can find the item available for sale on Amazon. Thanks for watching. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.